Hello, this is a video regarding how to set up your app tracker. The first thing that I would like to point out is that on your app tracker, you will have these blue columns that are already on your app tracker. And these blue columns are directly related to your outcome. So you can scroll all the way to the far right of your app tracker and you'll find several of these columns. And you'll notice that in my setup, I have picked them up and I have moved them around. So this app tracker, I am going to export directly to the student's Google Drive when I'm done building it, so as then you will have a copy of this app tracker here in this knowledge base article. And then you can then decide if you would like to rebuild your app tracker to reflect this app tracker. I'm going to explain why the columns are in this order. So I have put chosen deadline as the first column, and I am noting that this is the school that the student that would like to apply early action. This school, the student is going to choose regular decision, and we make those determinations into the beginning, at the beginning of the app tracking portion of our programming. Then I will put in the status of each of the applications. The student, from their student portal, can also update these. So it is a part of my standard curriculum that I am working with the student to set up their app tracker, and then I am showing them how they will continue to use their app tracker after I have set things up. So I do a lot of my app tracking work in August, setting up what the next few months will look like. And of course, I put the early action school, I put these in order of priority of application. Then that early action is here. And then there is a strategy and status column here that's capable of many things. And this is where I will put in what my strategy thoughts are regarding this deadline. So it is likely that if it's an early decision deadline, they probably have restrictions on that early decision. Or if it's an early admissions deadline, perhaps there's restrictions on that. That policy will be very specific to that school. So I might write in my strategy here that on the website, it clearly states we cannot apply to multiple campus, so on and so on. I then save that, and my determination that I have made regarding this particular deadline strategy, I have now made. If the question ever comes up again in the course of the next 4 months, when things are going to get a little hectic, I am then able to easily come back here and read my notes. But also, because this is our early action school, I'm going to use my strategy columns to think about this specific school and then generate an assignment for each of the tasks related to this application. So let's look at the other columns, and I will talk to you about that process at the same time. So my application notes, again, these are our darker blue, so these are related to outcome columns. So the notes that I put in here will be notes I reflect on when applying to this school later, because I'll always be able to pull these up with my outcome reports, and then I will be able to see all of the things that I've said about Boston University applications. That's particularly helpful to me when I am helping a student with a school that perhaps I haven't worked with in a while, or they've had lots of recent changes. So these are also information columns that I have decided to turn on for the app tracker. This one is a policy column. It is an application requirement column. So this column is found, College Data Menu, under this banner, the application guidelines banner. So I've turned on the test policy for the app tracker. I have also turned on the status and strategy column that is most closely associated with that policy column. So in this case, what I have done is I've turned on other tests. It's your preference if you want to turn on this one or this one. I choose this one just as an all-encompassing status column. Okay, I'm going to close that. Let's return back there to that column. So I then have the policy. I can check when it was last updated. Oh, last updated. So now I can review the policy, and then I can write in my thoughts on test policy for your EA school. Now, I am going to generate an assignment for each one of the policy requirements for this application. So now I've done it for test policy. Now I've done it for essay. I'm going to generate the essay directly into the student's Google Drive folder with this cool little icon. But then I'm also going to say that I generated essay, time to go write it. Now with the interview policy, we're going to see if you're applying to a College of Arts, please direct program requirements, materials, documents submitted. All right, so we're not applying to that program. So no interview needed. But if you visit campus, be sure to get credit for it. Bang, bang, bang. So I am reading again the application policy, and then I am putting in my strategy. I'm reading the recommendations policy, and I am inputting my strategy. Now, I have also turned on a status column for resume right next to the letters of recommendation, because for my students, when we go to ask for letters of recommendation, it always accompanies a resume as well as an unofficial transcript, so as our recommender can write the best essay. And I have pulled that from the CounselMore curriculum. The curriculum can be found in your settings menu. So then here I will say review resume and include with rec request. And now this, I have pulled over this column again, just from that college data menu right there. So I pulled over this column, and this says the Common App self-report grades. So no, that means they all want that transcript. Okay, so you will need to send official transcript. If financial burden, tell me. So many schools will let you self-report if your high school has a financial burden to accessing those, to accessing the official transcript. So perhaps that's something there. This is another status column, and this status column is related to whether or not the student has created their campus portal, so after application. So usually what I do is I put this one way down here. Then we have the FAFSA, so usually I have pulled over the financial policy, and then I am putting in whether or not we're going to do CSS, pardon me, and so on. So now, and then of course I have notes to student that I can drop in here, and of course we have that discuss column. So if we have conversations per school happening, those would all be simultaneously happening over here. But let's go back to generating those assignments. So now that I've filled in my strategy for our EA school, I am now going to click that clipboard. And now it says Boston University deadline strategy. I can expand on this. I'm going to turn it on for the student, and I want to make it available right away. I'm going to go back to the app tracker, and I'm going to go to my next status column. And usually I've done these all with you here. Usually I generate them one at a time. And then I will say, okay, that's my policy for that. And come over here. So now I have Boston University, Boston University. I will, now you see that there's a green clipboard. So there is an assignment that's related to this. There's an assignment related to this. So now over here, I'm turning it on for the student. So I have done that for then all of the app tracker, the status columns. I have done that for. We can do it one more time just so that you see. There we go. And now my student is going to receive an email with only their EA on it. Now, it's likely that I will change the titles of these to say, early decision, early decision, early decision. But for just the point of this video, I am now going to email those out to the student. I don't know if this is connected to an email. Nope, there's no email connected. Okay, so then I would email it out all of these assignments. But what it looks like to the student is the student is going to receive a set of assignments, one summary email that's dedicated to just the one school. And then we're going to get through all of those assignments for that one school. They're going to click done on them. I will get the notification that they have completed those assignments, and then the student and I can both update the app tracker. So the student could come here and click done. Or the student could just inform me that they have done that particular assignment. I usually have students updating their own app trackers and moms updating the app tracker. But I have found that once I set it up this way and I keep us focused on these columns, which are specific to the application, I'm not bringing in extraneous columns, because extraneous columns just introduces other pieces of the conversation that we're not focused on right now. And then after each meeting, mom usually wants to know, well, how up to date are we now? And instead of me doing meeting notes at that time, then I just export to Excel, which again, we're not connected to Google Drive, so I'll figure out something different. But I'm going to scroll through these columns really slowly, just one last time, so that you can pause the video and write them down or pull them over. Just keep pausing the video and then going and selecting them for your own app tracker. And then if you wanted these columns to be this way on all of your lists, you can go to the settings menu. Probably best to set it up for one student first, see how you like it. And then here I am on the college data menu defaults, and then you can use the search bar to find anything that you need. And you can choose it per list, so you can set up your defaults for all 3 of your different kinds of lists. And then you determine the order of your columns this way. So that would be how to take the list that I've presented to you here in this video, turn on the data up here, and then arrange your columns accordingly, and then come up here and apply the changes to all of your existing students. It won't remove data columns that you have previously applied, but it will add the new columns that you are applying. So probably best for you to then do that and then add a fresh student, and then go look at the fresh students app tracker. Okay. I hope that was helpful.